Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and a very special game review. My first ever interactive VCR board game. Of course, we're talking Star Trek: The Next Generation, a Klingon challenge. Let's dip into this thing. Now, by the way, if you enjoy somewhat rude noises, oh, well, now it didn't do it. It did it twice before I filmed this thing. Well, you don't get to have the rude noise. Sorry. So let's see what's in this box of goodies. Now, we got this game. It was still shrink wrapped, although there was some damage to the box on the back. So we got a nice complete game, which, well, you'll see in a minute. So we get How to Host a Mystery, a little advertisement first and foremost. Of course, we have the rules. If I can get a hold of them. The rules of play. Now, the videotape does explain a little bit of what you're doing in this game, but you do need to read these rules, and they're not massively extensive. They give you the basics of what you need to know. It was not a difficult game to learn and understand. You do get some stickers, which, my wife and daughter wanted to use some of these, and of course I, being a completist, was horrified, but I was overruled. So it was complete when we got it. It's not as complete now. And then, of course, you get the board. We'll look at the board in just a moment. But you have these Klingon emblems. Whoop, let's see if I can do that without the lens flare. What is this, a Michael Bay movie? Of course, here's the videotape. Holodeck cards. Let's look at one of the holodeck cards. There we go. With data. What does it say? You consult with a holodeck image of Lieutenant Commander Data and learn how to access one level of computer security. When you enter any room, receive your next level isolinear chip. Oh yeah, isolinear chips are big in this one. We get this little, it's basically a tricorder, but it's used, I believe, to with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's to record some of your progress in the game. You have these little, they kind of look like a saucer section from the thing, but they give you different message. Bridge access denied. Okay, and then we get the spinner. Very cool. Klingon knife. All right. And we get the computer access cards. I know, a lot of equipment in this one. What's this one say? 4515 or 430. Now that refers to clock time, and you'll see what that means in just a moment. The main computer experiences a power surge. Receive 2 free turns. Okay. And we have a dice. Lovely. And we have these. What are these? Well, we'll talk about that in a moment when we're going through the game. Now, you will notice that the video cassette in this one is still shrink wrapped. And yet we played the game. How did we do it? You can actually find the video that goes with this game on YouTube. And that's what we use, so I didn't have to open that up. You also get some props. We get phasers. We get phasers. We get little standees of your characters. This in particular is a lieutenant. And there we go. That would be the lieutenant in a little blue standee thing. I don't want to wow everybody with technical jargon. Okay. So lots of little bits and pieces in this one, which is always a lot of fun. And then, of course, we have the board. Now, what does the board show you? It shows you a very simple layout of the USS Enterprise D. So you have turbo lifts, we have computer access, you have things like miss a turn. These are the spaces that your little characters are going to be moving around on. You put some cards here, some cards here. The holodeck ones go here. Computer access cards go here. And the basic idea is you're moving around and you're trying to defeat these 5 levels of like computer security and then get access to the bridge. Now, why are you doing all this? Well, you discover why you're doing all this when you put in the videotape. And here's a really important thing. Once you put the tape in and hit play, you're committed to the game. There's no stopping. There's no pausing. It rolls through. So when you first put it in, you see you must read the rules to understand how to play this game. Carefully read the rules now before proceeding any further. So they're letting you know right off the bat. Because like I said, the rules, they're not massively complex, but there's enough of them that you really don't want to try to just fake your way through them. And then we see this. And like I said, once you get this thing going, you got to keep going. So we see the Enterprise, we get the title, Star Trek The Next Generation, interactive VCR, board game. And they warn you, you are the only crew members on board the USS Enterprise. So there's no parental supervision here, which is cool. We get the episode title, A Klingon Challenge, starring Robert O'Reilly as Kavok. Now, you will probably best remember O'Reilly as Gauron. Here, he's playing a Klingon who acts about 99.9% like Gauron. Is this a weak point of the game? No, because Gauron was a lot of fun. Jonathan Frakes also gets a credit here. Notice, though, as the voice of Commander William Riker, and that's because what he's really doing is leaving a log entry, okay? So he lets you know that the Enterprise has docked at a starbase to get repairs to a damaged computer core that is causing erratic performance in low-level computer functions. And we get some footage of the ship sets and more credits. So we get Picard's office there. And Riker is going to, like I said, be giving us the setup through a lot of this. We hear that the ship is practically empty, aside from a few crew that are here to direct the repair teams. Now, Riker is not aboard the ship, but he's monitoring progress from the starbase. So basically, all of us players are the poor bastards who missed out on shore leave. The deadline for making the repairs has passed, and the need to get underway is mounting, but the ship will remain empty until the repairs are completed. Now, they're going to take another couple days, which is frustrating, but no further delays are anticipated. And there we get the directed by Les Landau, our final credit. So once that's finished, we get a close-up of the transporter pad, the sound of a transport. You don't actually see it because, well, you know, you got to save money where you can. And then a couple Klingon footsies come into view. Looks like there could be a further delay to those repairs after all. And we see the feet walking through the empty ship. And finally, we get a glimpse of Kavok, our host for the evening. And then some graphics of the Enterprise leaving the starbase at high speed. Kavok lays in a course for Kronos, Warp 9, and he makes it so. And this is what we'll be seeing for the rest of the game. Kavok speaking to us through a screen from time to time to introduce challenges to us in the game. He hates the peace treaty between the Klingon Empire and the Federation, so he's going to attack Kronos with the Enterprise to spark a war. But we, being on board, might present a challenge, so we will play a warrior's game of strength and courage. And O'Reilly, dude, he chews scenery like a starving man in this thing, and you know what? It is really fun. Over the top, but very fun. Always loved him as Gauron. And he explains the concept of the game and the rules of how we'll interact with the videotape. We have to gain access, like I had said, to 5 levels of the main computer, pitted against him. And this is a race against time. Much of the time, you're going to be looking at this image with the timer counting down from 60 minutes. That's the time it's going to take to reach Kronos and start a war. You never pause the tape, so you're always on the run. And it is actually more harrowing than you might think. It when we were playing, it like, you kind of get a little flustered sometimes. And I'll say this, the sound of the ship's engines droning in the background would not be referred to as ASMR. So this is early ASMR. And so then Kavok will break in the middle of you moving around the board, rolling, dice and etc. He'll break in with instructions. He gives everyone nicknames in the game, kind of based on like your rank or what you happen to be doing at that moment. Our favorite one was Pooge. Now, when you're punished, it is called Beej. So at times, you will hear Pooge, experience Beej. Now, when we played, my poor wife ended up being Pooge. And so for about a week afterward, when she'd do something that displeased me, I would say, Pooge, experience Beej. No, she loved it. She really enjoyed it. And I also like this little goodie. Your ship is a garbage cow. If you know, you know. And so that's how this game proceeds. You are rolling dice to move your little characters around, trying to get to computer access so that you can collect these isolinear chips. You put them on your little tricorder, etc. Clock is, running down. You're moving about. And when you're ready, you can go to this bridge access panel and try to get on the bridge to actually stop this from happening. Now, when we played, I think we won. But you know what? It was like you're sort of hurrying through things, and there's times where you're going, I don't know, am I hurrying? Are we rushing it too much? Are we really playing the game now? Again, the very first time you do this, it's a little bit flustering. As the time's going down and you're trying to get your turns in, and all of a sudden he breaks in and you have to stop, and you have to respond to him as sir or captain or something like that, or else you get punished, although you're kind of expected to police each other in the game, which, okay, yeah, one person's trying to get in there and win the game in a way, but you're also sort of working together. Now, these little things here are, they're supposed to be force fields. Let me grab, I gotta move that video cassette. Let me grab one of these little dudes, and we'll put it. So you're moving these dudes around, and every so often, you will get a force field placed around you like that. And of course, it means you lose your turn, you can't move. And I also believe it blocks movement in the passages of the ship for the other players. You got crew quarters, 10 forward, biolab. So you got these different rooms you can go into. Trust me, I could explain more, but it would just be confusing. The point of it is, it's actually a very effective use of the videotape. I wasn't quite sure what we were going to be getting, because, if you're talking about a DVD, then things can sort of randomize through it, going from one place to another. The videotape, it just plays through. You could pause, you could fast forward, but primarily it just plays through. And so the 60-minute countdown, kind of cool, kind of effective, gets you moving. Now, I imagine if you play the game enough, you'll start to get a sense for when he's going to be breaking in, what's going to happen. But yeah, you'd have to play this a lot. You'd have to play it like every day for a month probably to memorize the thing. And of course, we're talking about, some Star Trek nerds might actually do that. We all know that, being Star Trek geeks and nerds ourselves. But I think for the most part, it's going to come in as a surprise. And the way they organize it is, it'll be like, whoever's in the science lab, experience Beej. So it's sort of random. Any player might happen to be in the science lab or the closest to the science lab when he breaks in and says something. So that kind of works pretty well. It was a fun game. We had a good time with it. We laughed a lot about it. Repeated plays would probably calm us down a little bit, make us more orderly. I will say this, if you have players who are not paying attention, it's going to be a real problem in this game, because you do need to keep things moving so you have a chance to potentially win. And one nice thing about that 60-minute countdown is it means you're getting this game over with in 60 minutes. So if you're doing something like you have friends over, you want to play a game, but you don't want it to go all night, there's no way this one can go all night. You got 60 minutes to get it figured out. If you don't win in 60 minutes, then Kavok wins. There's war between the Federation and the Empire, and everybody gets to have a glorious death. You get the idea. So, very fun game. And like I said, you can find the video of the VCR tape online. So you know, if you're worried about, I got an old video cassette, it might be damaged, it works out. And it was really worked out well for us because it meant we could just get like a laptop computer on the table next to us and play it on there instead of having to try to set this up next to a TV with a VCR, which we actually have a couple in this house. We could do that. For a lot of people, they don't. But I guess that's the point I'm making is even if you don't have a VCR anymore, if you find this game out there for sale, you can still play it by finding that video elsewhere. Presumably it's still out there. And if it's not on YouTube, it's probably floating around somewhere else. Fun game, well worth playing. We had a good time. We laughed a lot while we played, and we did manage to prevent a major, interstellar war. So that was a bonus. So there you have it, folks. The Star Trek: The Next Generation interactive board game starring Kavok / Gauron. A lot of fun. I highly suggest, especially if you're a Star Trek fan, you seek this one out and play it. That will do it for DadsDen today and this little review. If you ever played this game, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Let me know how it went. If you had problems with it, or if you ever found some mistakes in it, let me know about that too. We didn't have any trouble other than us just getting used to how the game worked. But if there are some flaws somewhere in the rules and you know about it, throw it in the comments. You might help somebody else out at some point in the future. But yeah, comment. Let me know what's going on. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, maybe subscribe, maybe share with a friend. We do game reviews, toy reviews, TV reviews, movie reviews, book reviews, comic book reviews on this channel. Basically, all sorts of stuff that I enjoy and I want to share with other people. We try to keep it pretty positive here. So, like, subscribe, share, and until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will see you, hopefully again soon, in DadsDen of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.